Well, what's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are, and whatever time it is. Welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersiaholic. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another online battle for the divided Impera overhaul mod for Total War Rome 2. Today, we have India, aka the Mauryans, taking on the Saba of Arabia. This is going to be a very interesting matchup here. I believe we have not had either faction. Oh no, we have had the Mauryans featured once so far in this series. I went up against them, against my man Toxborg, who I am playing against today, actually. He will be playing as a Saba. A link to his channel is in the description, as it always is in our shared videos we do together. So be sure to go over there, check him out, and say g'day from his mate Immersiaholic. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very interesting matchup, not just because we have some cool factions happening. We have the Mauryans taking on the Saba, but I tried something different with my army composition. So let's get talking about my army composition, then we'll get on with the battle. But before we do that, just very quickly, don't forget to join our official Immersiaholic Discord, link in the description as well, as always. However, one thing you need to understand about this battle is that this battle is done with us using the larger battlefield mod. Let me show the map really quickly. You can see here, the map is absolutely massive that we're fighting on, which is awesome because it allows us to do things like march around and actually use terrain and whatnot. Army compositions seem to have a much higher impact when you're moving around the battlefield, in my opinion. At least in so far, in the battles that I've done with this mod so far. I haven't done a massive amount. I'm looking to do more. Me and Toxborg did a bunch together, so I'll be showing those to you guys over the next few weeks and such. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to using the larger battlefields sub-mod for DEI in my upcoming campaign, plus in future online battles. So any feedback on that is always welcome. Always interested to see your guys' thoughts about whether it should be used in online battles or not. But yeah, a link will be in the description listing all of the mods I use, as I do in every single video. So anyway, let's talk about army composition and then we'll get into the battle. So first up, starting from left to right, we have 2 units of cavalry at the back of my left wing. We have the Mauryan Lancers and we have the Indo-Iranian light cavalry. Pretty light cav unit, but it actually has some pretty solid staying power, sorry. And I even gave it 1 XP of experience, 1 rank of experience. I did that for my other wing as well, but you'll see it in a second. In front of them we have the Mauryan Macemen, then we have the Mauryan Elite Macemen, some excellent shock infantry for our far left hand side. Definitely going to be trying to get a lot of kills with these guys. I'm hoping for at least 200 plus kills with each unit. 200 is my minimum that I'm aiming for, but we'll see what happens in the battle. And then we get to our front line, which consists entirely of hoplites. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of Mauryan hoplites. Is that right? Yeah, 6. I thought I had 7, but only 6. Never mind. These are the Indo-Hellenic hoplites. You generally don't get these until a bit later in the campaign if you're playing as the Mauryans. For this unit, I really wanted to try an interesting strategy where instead of playing kind of like a horde style with the Mauryans, which is what a lot of people do because they have some really big size units, like 300 man units, I'm trying to offer a solid main battle line because behind them I have my major killing power, which is the Mauryan longbowmen. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 units of Mauryan longbowmen. These guys are absolutely insane. They have absolutely no armor though, so you do need to protect them and keep them away from skirmisher fire. However, they have a range of 215 right off the bat on the recruitment. That is very, very good. They even have a decent melee attack and defense of 9 and 7, so they can do a little bit of damage in a melee engagement before they die if they get a recharge. So they're not entirely useless at that point. They also have 200 men per unit, which is more than the majority of other skirmisher units, which only go 175. So this is big. This is really going to be interesting. It's pretty rare for me to use any skirmishers at all in my armies, and I definitely never use this much. So I'm basically banking on their very long range to provoke Toxborg into charge in my front battle line to try and get through. And I'll also be using my cavalry on my left-hand flank and, of course, our cav on the right-hand flank. And our right-hand flank is exactly the same as the left, but I'll go over it very quickly. We have the Indo-Iranian light cavalry, Mauryan lancers, which despite them being called lancers, they are not just shock cavalry because they have a melee defense of 13. At least if that UI is correct, which I have to assume it is. And it seems like it is in the battle. They do fairly well if I recall correctly. But anyway, yeah, don't let the name fool you. They actually have some very solid staying power and an armor of 31 to help them out. And then I once again have my Mauryan Elite Macemen and Mauryan Macemen. Both fantastic shock infantry units. Going to be very fun using them. And then we also have our general in the rear, which is just a standard Mauryan bodyguard cavalry unit. Nothing too special about him. It's a great unit. Very focused on being good in a extended melee engagement, especially against infantry. It even has that 4 bonus against infantry. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the battle started. As you can see, we have a massive battlefield here, and we can't even see Toxborg. Toxborg should be kind of somewhere, probably around here in the deployment zone, and we are all the way down there. So we spend a lot of the early game of this battle just marching forward. I won't be doing anything special. I will eventually break off my cavalry to kind of go forward a little bit of my army and start scouting. So we'll skip ahead a little bit in the battle here until things start happening and you see some interesting maneuvers come out. Alrighty, so we've skipped ahead a few minutes now. All I've done is march up my main army up the straight center of the middle of the map. However, I have sent off my cavalry into 2 detachments to try and find Toxborg's army. Sent 1 detachment up here, and all the way over here we sent up another detachment, and we're starting to spot some of his units. He does have units up here in the hills, some infantry, that's all I've seen so far. Then on his far right hand flank here, I'm seeing more focused kind of contingents of infantry and cavalry. So as far as I can tell, his army should be around here. At least the majority of his army around there, around those blue circles. So I'm going to try and advance straight towards it. There isn't really much terrain advantage to be had here. Pulling back our cavalry so they don't get kind of caught out in the open. Now we're really starting to see his army come out and appear. So in a few moments we'll pause once we see more of his army, and I'll go over the composition for you. But it's starting to look like he's forming up a defensive position up here. Probably has a main battle line here and some more units up here. And potentially he could also be hiding units up here in the sand dunes, although I doubt it, since he did spot my cavalry earlier. So I am trying to use these hills over here to my advantage. We're basically in the middle of the battle map, so I'm the one who's coming forward the most so far. A little worried about being outflanked, so I'm going to be trying to play defensive with my right hand flank. You can see over here I have them just kind of holding back, making sure that they spot anything before the enemy gets close. My main battle line is continuing forward slowly. It's not rushing forward. I am just walking most of my units for the majority of the time. And I am starting to kind of get up closer over here towards my cavalry. I noticed that he does send forward his cavalry. He has a unit of chariots, a few units of cavalry coming up towards me. Another unit over here. So I'm just going to instantly pull back my cav. There's no point in fighting that battle. I'm not going to win anything. I don't need this hill. I'm not going to try and sit on the hill anyway. I actually bring over my cavalry on the right hand flank, and I bring over my general as well, just in case he keeps trying to push it. But we will see him back off here. We're starting to see more of his army come out, so I will go over the composition shortly. Main battle lines are forming right here, though. He should be seeing my army now that he has cavalry so close. And yeah, we are seeing those move orders come in from his army. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pause this because it looks like we're seeing the majority of his army. So let's start talking about them. So let's start with his cav contingent that he sent out against me. And initially, we have his general actually leading the charge, an Arabian bodyguard cav unit. It's actually pretty decent. It has 120 men in it, which is very cool, unique to more of the eastern factions, especially towards like skirmisher units. But it has fantastic stats pretty much across the board. Good armor of 38, Solid melee attack of 10, defensive 17, charge bonus of 50. These guys can be brutal on the charge, but they can also do very well in an extended melee, so very scary for me going up against that. He then has Sabian medium cav. These guys are not really dedicated shock cav, basically just a solid mid-tier cav unit for him. They do only have an armor of 28 though. He then has chariots. Very risky bringing chariots to an online battle. Very hard to use effectively, and I doubt he's going to get a lot from this. I mean, there is a lot of these chariots here. I think there's 30 chariots in total. Possibly. Or there's only one guy per thing, so that should be 60 chariots actually. Because it has 60 men in it, but only one man per chariot. So yeah, that should be 60 technically. But UI is not always accurate to what you see. But anyway, the point is that he has chariots, and they are not scythe chariots. So those chariots are going to be hard for him to get his money's worth out of. Then we have some more Sabian medium cav. Behind them, backing them up, we have Arabian spearmen. Basically a levy unit. They have no armor at all. And then we have Arabian short swordsman. Fairly low tier to just barely medium tier swordsman unit. Armor 20 could be useful for him. Then he has some Arabian slingers. Coming over to the center of his formation, no, we're starting to see more of a battle line of spearmen. See some Sabian bodyguard infantry. 1, 2, and... is there more? No, that was it, but the other two spearmen units are Sabian nobles. 1 right here, and 2 here. Behind them we have some skirmishers, some more Arabian slingers, another unit there, so that's 3 slingers in total. Then up here in the rear, he has Arabian Thurio soldiers, which is basically swordsmen. He then has Sabian champions added in the recent 1.2.8 patch. Gotta be very cool to see how well they do. Looks amazing. Love the unit. Very, very cool. He has 2 units of those. Second unit is right there. Then he has some more Arabian Therios swordsmen. Then he has a far left-hand wing of another unit of Arabian slingers, getting us to 4 in total. Arabian short swordsmen and Arabian spearmen. That is his main battle line. Let's press play. See what happens next. He's pushed me off the hill and is slowly kind of pulling his cavalry back while I'm trying to bring my army forward. Gonna be trying to use this hill up here to my advantage if I can. We'll see how that goes. Also keeping my general hidden behind the hill. The hill actually does hide your units from the line of sight. It's a little finicky, not entirely accurate, but very useful, especially against the AI. But I actually do end up bringing him up on top of the hill. Just because I know Toxbook saw my general come over this way, so there's no point in trying to be tricky. Instead, what I would prefer to do is show force on this left-hand side so he doesn't bring all of his cavalry out and try to overwhelm me, because that's kind of what I'm scared of. And with this battle, obviously my main thing is that I'm trying to delay his units from basically getting good charges and overwhelming my flanks. I need to hold my flanks for as long as possible, while in the center here, my archers do their thing. That's why I have such very good hoplites as my main battle line. They won't get a lot of kills, but they will hold, and they will hold for a very long time. So my skirmishers, my longbowmen, they have an insane range. It's almost in range of the enemy infantry right now. Look at that. That is just archers, guys. That's insane. All the way out here, to those of you watching on mobile, that is the radius of a longbow unit. It's incredible. But yeah, obviously I'm trying to get a lot of kills with that. I have my infantry, my shock infantry, which are excellent at killing. Really hoping to get a lot of bang for my buck with these guys. Need to get Toxbook interested in fighting me though, so I am going to start pushing forward my longbowmen a little bit. Going to put them in front of my hoplites, who are not in phalanx formation just yet. I am waiting until my units get engaged with his, or at least close to it, just so they can move a little bit faster. Some maneuvering going on, nothing too crazy. I've retaken the hill over here on the left. Not much of a victory though, it's not really going to give me too much advantage. The main thing it does is it lets me see if there's any enemy units out here, which it does look like there is. And in fact, this is actually 20 units that we're counting up here. It doesn't look like 20 because they're so spread out, but that is 20. I was just counting it up actually just before we went over their roster. Looks like we're about to get the opening volley, perhaps. We just heard the horns blasting. We get or is he just out of our view? Just out of view. Out of line of sight, I should say. The enemy units usually need to be a lot further into it. I also have my guys off fire at will, I believe. So we're kind of just having a bit of a standoff here. I am going to have to start opening fire though, even on his crappier units, which is not ideal. The main thing I'm wanting my archers to counter is any specific aggressive units he has, like his champions that he's keeping up here in the rear, and his noble units. And then, of course, his cavalry. I need to kill his cav and any elite infantry he's brought to the field, basically. That's the idea anyway. Main battle line of the Mauryans is moving forward. The longbowmen begin engaging. We're attacking the short swordsmen. Swordsmen are always scary to face when you have an army of hoplites. Although these guys are pretty low tier, so it's doubtful that they would beat my hoplites. But I'll still take whatever kills I can get. It's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be enough to either make him pull back or provoke him into a full-on frontal charge. And he's looking like he's wanting to be aggressive in this battle. He is bringing his chariots and cavalry forward once again. He's trying to kind of get a little bit of an encirclement happening. Do need to be careful. He has lost one of his units to cav, so I'm guessing he's hiding it up here possibly, or behind this hill. So that's another reason why I'm not going to be aggressive with my flanks. Just trying to let my longbowmen do their thing. So I actually start splitting them up. Send 2 units over here, 3 more over here. And I'm doing that so I can try and target some of his cavalry. There's that attack order right there. But he is moving them back just in time, unfortunately for me. The right-hand flank, though, looks like he's trying to really get aggressive now. Well within range of my archers. Not really a lot of units that I do want them to engage, though. The majority of his infantry, I feel like I can handle. It's the champion units in the rear that I'm scared of. And his cavalry. My hoplites will hold. They should be. Yep, now they're in their phalanx formation as well. Made sure I did that before they got engaged. Pulling back my archers behind my macemen. 1 unit of macemen will be enough to guard both of them. Then I have my other unit of macemen on the right hand flank now. So we have 1, 2, and 3 units of macemen on the right because he is overloading it with infantry. Mainly with infantry, so that's good for me. I'm going to pull back one of my cav units to try and make sure I can support them. Have my archers focus fire on his slingers, make sure my men get all the time that they need. Here comes the charge from his cavalry. I pulled back to try and get in a better position on the hill. And my longbowmen begin engaging the chariots. Won't get a lot of kills initially, but we're getting that HP damage done. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Very nice. We need to deal as much damage as we can. He will get a good charge on my elite Mauryan maceman, but I'm willing to sacrifice that unit. I really don't want to, but if I sacrifice it, tie down this unit of chariots, his cavalry, he's done. I just have to kill his cavalry. If my cav win, then that it is what it is. Basically wins me the battle. His chariots are damaged, routing, and they kill 20 guys. Nowhere near good enough. So hard to use him cost effectively now, but now I have the advantage. He has slingers and he has 2 units of cav. Now it's time for me to push hard on the far left hand flank. The far right, I'm starting to receive charges from him. I counter charge with my Mauryan maceman, sending another unit around to try and charge, help out. This unit right here will protect my longbowmen that are annihilating his slingers. He's already lost 1 unit of slingers up here. About to lose another right here. Also rotating his cavalry around to try and help his right hand flank. His right. My left is now going very well for me. We got a good charge against his general. A decent charge, not amazing. We're blobbing up his cavalry. He has units nearby that are taking some skirmisher fire in the side, so they're going to start taking severe losses. But then he has these slingers. These slingers are left unmolested for far too long. I took way too long getting to them. Should have moved this cav unit around or something, but I don't know what I was doing, just took forever. Main battle lines are now engaging. Here comes a charge from the Arabians. We countercharge with our hoplite wall. Boom. There it goes. It's happening. Cruise along that main battle line. Our hoplites are marching forward, slightly uphill. Not enough to be decisive though. We have a little bit of unit overlapping here. Not very good usage of units by me. Bit of a mistake there. Common one to make with hoplites so. But yeah, not the greatest. But overall we're going okay. Routing some of his units of cav. Losing a unit of spearmen. About to lose his cav unit. His general up here is kind of isolated, but these slingers are still nailing my cav. And they're trying to focus fire on my general as well, who's up here getting involved. Just took a severe charge. I need to bring my cav around, get involved, and I need to do it quickly and hurry the hell up. Right hand flank is a bit of a mixture for me. My infantry, my macemen are taking pretty heavy losses, but they're dealing a lot of damage, and the longbowmen in the rear are dealing some severe damage. So this is a Arabian short swordsman unit. Killed 53 guys and they're almost routed. Not good enough for them. They needed more kills. Here comes the cav, trying to rear charge, get the morale damage in. Soon as these units rout, I'm moving my units over. You see right here? This maceman unit is coming in. Rear charging the crap out of these Arabs. The Arabians cannot handle it. They're retreating right there. They're doing pretty good. Starting to wrap up a little bit. We just got to route this other unit right here. Route that. We start folding up the right hand flank. The center is holding perfectly. We have no holes in our main battle line. We're doing well. We're even outflanking a little bit on the left here. And then this is where we win the battle. The enemy general is dead. The last of the cavalry has retreated. Slingers are slowly getting tied up by my longbowmen after I ran out of ammunition here on the left. Still have one more unit, but it's wasting its ammo, killing my skirmishers that have no ammo, so that's fine with me. Arabian unit up here. This is the Thurio swordsman. You can tell by their Thurio shield. About to be surrounded and charged from multiple directions. They are doing well though. They routed one of my units of cav, but the rest of the battle, it's starting to look like the battle is decisively turning in our favor. We are having a big issue right here though. My general's getting targeted once again, down to 49 men. I'm about to lose my general. He's wavering. I'm trying to retreat him. Get away. Get out of there. I gotta keep my general alive. And it looks like we do it just in time. 47 men left. Morale is stabilizing. The Thurio swordsmen were recharged. A little bit of a sacrificial charge right there, but doesn't matter now because now I have more cav coming in. And my longbowmen can come in if needed. I will actually get my general more involved. You'll see him come up and help here on the left. But this right hand flank is being folded up by my infantry. Getting beautiful recharges. And my one unit of cav is coming in and getting devastating recharges. Absolutely savage. Not even a very high tier cavalry unit, but it's still doing very well. Massive morale damage. Decent number of kills. It's currently at 161 kills and it's lost only 16 men. Massive trade-off. Very, very cost effective. The hoplites are holding. They are not having any gaps formed in their line. The only issue with my hoplites is that I have them kind of overlapping, like right here on my left. Very bad mistake right there. It's just not cost effective. Speaking of not cost effective, this unit needs to be charging. I give the order shortly, I think, but I took way too long with my micro there. And with these units of hoplites, it would have been better if I was pushing forward. You see right there, this unit did push. I gave it a double click attack order to push forward, but need to be more active with my hoplites, I think. It's something I kind of mess up on. But it doesn't matter. Getting some very nice rear charges. Here comes another one. It's enough to rout the Thurios Arabs. Macemen are coming in between the gap and the line. Getting a decent rear charge. We're getting a bunch of rats of the enemy, and at this point, there's just no way the Saba can bring it back. They had some good units for it. They had some elite bodyguard spearmen. They had their noble units. They had a couple champions. But there's a big rat right here, losing their general and all of their cavalry. It's looking very, very rough. What units do we have here for the Arabs? We have Sabaean champions, Arab short swords, Sabaean bodyguard, and Sabaean bodyguard infantry, which is just a spearman unit. Getting rear charge, boom. That was savage, ladies and gentlemen, huh? That was some nice rear charges, wow. But the bodyguard unit, very good heavy spearman. But that's all it is, it's a heavy spearman unit. While it will last for a while in a fight, it is just not going to get the kills it needs. It might kill some of my cav, leaving him in for engagement for a little bit too long, but here they are pulling back. And the bodyguard infantry are retreating. Oh wait, no they're not. They're charging, sorry. I thought they were retreating, but now they are. And as is the entire Saba army, the Mauryans come out on top, and India shows off its might with its longbowmen against the Arabs. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out these statistics very quickly and talk about what happened. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so your man Immersiaholic attempted to do a very heavy skirmisher focused army for once, and it seemed to pay off. Actually, it forced my opponent to kind of come towards me and end up attacking me, charge me on basically most of the terms that I wanted him to. We enveloped his cavalry on our far left hand flank. We did very well there. My longbowmen got decent kills, not massive. I was kind of hoping for a few of them to have around 200 or more. The highest we have with our archers is 160. But they all consistently get just about 100 kills or more. And because they're pretty cheap, I will take that. And they also got kills on good targets. They dealt with his slingers, they helped me deal with his cavalry, and we also got his chariots off the field before they really even got any kills. So all of his cavalry ended up being nullified due to my cav combined with my skirmishers. The real killing came in from my cavalry though, 255 kills on a single cav unit, and it's in great condition. That's pretty good. And combining that with my macemen, all of my macemen got well over 150. My lowest kill was 159 on an elite Mauryan maceman, and that's the unit that got charged and really heavily decimated by the chariots. They didn't take a lot of kills from the chariots, but they were disrupted and then they were charged by infantry after that. So that's probably why the chariots themselves actually didn't kill all that many of my macemen. And my hoplites. This is the kind of stuff I want to see from hoplites. Yes, they don't have many kills whatsoever. The highest we have in a hoplite unit is 56. But look at these green bars. The green bar under each of these units means that is the amount of men that it had left. So if it's green, it means it had about 80% or more. And as you lose men, you start to see, for example, this unit has 46 kills. You'll start to see this little black bar where you lose men. So because the majority of our hoplites, in fact all of them, are basically 90% or more of their men left, that is absolutely perfect in my mind. And that tells me that the hoplites did exactly what they needed to, which was hold. They did not give me any gaps in my line, and they held his infantry in place, and it basically worked perfectly. Yeah, my macemen could have done better. They are very expensive, but at the end of the day, they defeated the enemy that they were going up against. They were not beaten in any kind of one-on-ones, and they managed to help deal a lot of morale damage, plus get very solid kills for all of them. So overall, I was actually really happy with this Mauryan army and looking forward to doing it more often. A little bit spammy with 6 hoplites and 5 longbowmen. It's kind of getting into spam territory, but in my opinion, it wasn't overly too much, and it's still pretty appropriate. And I was just trying to do something a little bit different, so it was good fun. Massive props to my main Toxbog for the battle, though. I really appreciate it. His army composition was interesting, and I feel like it definitely could have worked if he just didn't bring those chariots and had better luck with his cav. I did have more cav than him, so that definitely was going to be a bit of a struggle for him to try and get the upper hand against me. And I also would have liked to have seen him bring in just one unit of camels. Camels can really make a big difference in the cav engagements. They will scare the enemy horses, so maybe swap out the chariot for a camel unit, bring in his spearmen and skirmishers into support, and that would have been a lot closer in my opinion. But anyway, mad props to my man Toxbog. Thank you very much, brother. And thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.